Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is Woozy HD coming at you guys with game number 6 between EG.Idra and Select. I just took my final pounding of Red Bull. I actually have like a little bit of drag left in this can. Hopefully it'll keep me alive for this cast. I hope it's not a super long one. I kind of hope it's a long one. At the same time, I don't. My brain doesn't want it to be a long one because it might collapse pretty soon. But personally, I really want it to be a good game. So this is game 6. We'll see what happens. Round 6, fight! The battle has begun, and let's check to see if the colors are right. The colors are wrong, so I'm just going to close that. I don't even know what's going on with that. And EG.Idra is going to be the red Zerg down in the bottom right-hand corner. The map will be Antigua Shipyard. Select will be the blue Terran at the top left-hand corner of the map. And so far the series is 3-2 in favor of EG.Idra. And, you know, so far Select has really only won one. Well, he's won one game where he cheesed. The second game he won. It was just basically EG.Idra kind of defeating himself, if you ask me. But the other games so far, every macro game, especially the last two that have gone down, Select has lost. EG.Idra has just overwhelmingly won the game. It wasn't even close, if you ask me. And that's just not going to bode very well for Select. If he can't play a macro game toe-to-toe with EG.Idra, then every time these two players really, you know, face each other, like right now in game number 6, you know, I feel like Select is going to be forced to bust out the stanky cheese. Otherwise, he's just going to be in a terrible position to win out the series. So, having said that, we'll have to see what happens. It is cross spawn, so that doesn't bode very well for Select because, you know, like I said before, cross spawn usually means we're going to have a pretty macro game on our hands. Select is going to go for the gas now, so he will not be going for any kind of gasless fast expand. He may go for reactored Hellions once again. Although, I'm not too sure on the timing of the gas. I think the gas was after the racks, so nothing cheesy, I don't think, coming out for Select yet. But at the same time, EG.Idra going to go ahead and grab the macro hatchery. Nothing really dismaying him or distracting him from going from his standard build. It seems like he's feeling pretty confident now. And, you know, that's pretty good for him. I mean, if you start winning games, momentum, and not a lot of players or casters mention this enough, but I feel like momentum plays such a huge role in StarCraft 2. When you've got it swinging in your favor, when the pendulum is on your side, you hang on to it, you continue to build on it, and you don't really give it back to the other player. But if you do end up giving it back, especially if it's your own mistake, and especially if you're EG.Idra and you're prone to tilting, it can certainly change things up in a jiffy. And so that's one thing that I think EG.Idra has been kind of training on, not to, you know, make a crucial mistake that ends up costing him the game. And we'll have to see if he manages to make a mistake or if he manages to play perfectly throughout this series. Because when he plays perfectly, it's very, very hard to stop a player like him. Now, Select is going to go for the factory once again, and he's going to get the reactor. So it looks like he's going reactored Hellions. And, you know, it looks like he's going to go ahead and go for the one barracks, one factory expand once again. And if that's the case, yes, it is the case, he's going to build the command center on the low ground, then it looks like he just wants to play a macro game with EG.Idra, and I don't know if I agree with this, you know? He's cross-scouted EG.Idra, he noticed EG.Idra is in the bottom right-hand corner. I don't know if he can win. Hopefully he puts up a better fight, because so far EG.Idra is, you know, training in South Korea. Don't forget, guys, EG.Idra went out to Seoul, Korea to train and play in the top tournament out there, which is known as the GSL, the Global Starcraft League. You know, he's become such a better player, and he's really far surpassed any foreigner out here. And now that he's back in North America and playing in the North American tournaments, he's just been tearing it up. So I don't know if Select really can stand toe-to-toe with him, but without a little bit of cheese on his side. So we'll have to see. The neutral supply depot will go down. EG.Idra's going to take that out pretty quickly, and there it goes. A couple of Zerglings trying to make their way inside the natural. They will see the command center being built right now, so EG.Idra will be able to realize that Select is going to go for a standard game here, so he doesn't expect any kind of cheese at that. A couple of Hellions will probably be able to make their way in. The Crawler is still rooting down, but it doesn't look like Select wanted to risk it right there. And there's something to be said about risk versus reward in this game. Sometimes you gotta take the heavy risk to go in there and, you know, find out what's going on. But sometimes you don't want to take those risks because you can lose everything. But here, Select waits for 2 more Hellions to come in to join his party, thereby reducing his risk. But the Crawler was already rooted, so he ended up losing one of his Hellions and didn't really get anything done as a matter of fact. And once again, we have that late speed coming up from EG.Idra. And so at this point, I know for sure, for certain, that it is part of his build order. It's not a mistake, as I called in Xel'Naga Caverns. So I do apologize for that. It looks like he just, you know, plays it like this. This is how he likes to play. He likes to get the early drones and forego the technology. But as I said before, I don't know if I agree with it. It really puts him at a disadvantage in terms of expanding, in terms of getting that creep spread. Now, 5 Hellions running in here. Select, he should know at this point that speed is very delayed, and this is how he won on Xel'Naga Caverns with a massive Hellion run by, burning up the drones. It looks like he gets a great attack right there. 10 workers killed, and all of them dying right there on that ramp. Someone erect a tombstone on that ramp and call it the drone graveyard, because that's exactly where the Zerg player should, where Idra should be, I don't know, he should be praying for his drones' lives right there, because it's just all tied on that ramp. That's terrible for him. And Select gets a great advantage in this game. Now that worker count, you know, initially Idra was just going to have a balling out amount of workers because he's going for this route where he's getting all these drones rather than getting the gas. But now that's kind of been sized down a little bit because Select went in there and because he killed off so many workers. So great job by Select right there, you know, kind of reading into Idra, realizing that there's no speed, realizing that he can take that risk and run inside, and he gets a great Hellion burst on those drones. And now, once again, getting that quick starport and medevacs. He could go for that timing attack once again, but he gets his Hellions surrounded in the middle of the field. Oh, and he doesn't get lucky this time. He isn't able to escape, and he loses all of his Hellions, and that was not good for the Terran player. All map control kind of ceded back over to the Zerg, and now Idra can just control the middle of the field with impunity. This is a pretty small force pushing out right now from Select, although he does have Stim, so that force is a little bit stronger than you would expect. But I think Idra should be prepared to deal with this quite easily. He's got 12 more Zerglings on the production queue right now. I don't see these Marines doing that much, guys. And this could be a bad call from Select. I don't think he's got the necessary bulk to really make anything of this, although he may end up dropping into the main here. There is a steam vent right here to kind of hide his Marines if he goes for it. And he's going to do just that. He's also sending reinforcements down south as well. And Select drops into the Zerg main. Idra is prepared for this, though. Got a lot of Zerglings ready for this, and Banelings as well, and those Marines are not going to do any damage at all. The medevac immediately pulling up everything back into the cargo area, and he retreats. I don't know if I agree with this call from Select. I don't think he's got enough of a bulk to make anything happen, and at the very least he should wait for his shield upgrade to finish, and now it is going to finish, so that makes the Marines a little bit more sturdier. The Banelings self-detonating, or it looks like Select actually manually target fired. Great micro, and at the same time also picking up the Marines that were surrounded. Brilliant micro from Select, and this is why I guess Select can push out even with low number of Marines, because his micro is impeccable. But now the macro of Idra kicking into gear, and the Mutas have arrived. I think, though, that Select is going to be able to out-micro the Mutas. No, he will not be able to, as the Queen kind of providing a little bit of support, and even with 4 medevacs, he is unable to deal with these Mutalisks. And now that's terrible for Select, because he may end up losing a medevac. No, he will not. Maybe he will, yeah. He's going to definitely lose at least 1 medevac. He needs to get the Marines over there to protect the medevacs. I'm not sure what he's doing. He's got to stim and protect those medevacs, and now there he goes, but he loses 2 medevacs. A terrible loss for Select, and Idra is starting to run away with this game once again. And we see why Idra is such a good StarCraft 2 player. This is not not looking good at all if you guys are a Select fan or a Terran fan, because Select is you know, he's not making it happen right now. Despite his impeccable micro, despite, you know, killing off 10 drones at the ramp right here, even all those small victories, this is what happens in the mid to late game. Idra gets a large number of Mutalisks, and then Select doesn't have an answer for it. Picking off that Overlord is certainly going to help a little bit. But what he needs to do right now, I think, is just really double down on Marine production. Add more barracks, because he's only got 3. He needs more barracks right now. He needs more Marines, and really get that tank production going after the Marines start coming out. At the same time, he's got to get a 3rd command center going. He cannot fall behind in macro. So hopefully, I think step 1 is to add the barracks down and get Marines out. I don't really know why he's not adding more barracks on, because he's got plenty of minerals right now. He's got almost 600, but it looks like he's going to rush the armory and get the Thor. So I don't disagree with that, because, you know, the Thor is going to be pretty nice as well. But oh no, it looks like he's going to lose the orbital command as it's floating out to the bottom left. And those Marines clearing up some SCVs that were out there as well. Those SCVs were out in no man's land. And the Mutalisks, like the vultures they are, they pick those off. And love it, man. Love Idra's game awareness here. Pooping out creep where the command center was going to be landing, thereby further delaying that orbital command. And now Select can't really secure that location until the creep recedes. That's going to take about another good 30 seconds. And the Muta's running in here. Oh, I don't know if Idra wants to do this, but it looks like he has enough Mutalisks to just break through. What a beautiful bust. And now the production facilities could be camped. I don't know what Select is going to do at this point. He's losing Marines one by one. He stems all the Marines back to come in here, but now his front door could be breached because he doesn't have that many Marines at the front and not enough tanks either. And Idra could just run right through the middle of the field. This is looking pretty bad for Select. And look at how many Zerglings and Mutas and Banelings are going to run in here. Those tanks at the front totally exposed. The Banelings coming in as well. That tank will fall down. A couple of SCVs, a lot of SCVs running through the gauntlet here. Surprisingly, a lot of them making it out alive. That was pretty risky. And Idra really just busting the tanks, running away, didn't lose anything crucial. Runs in for a second wave. I don't know if he's got enough to do this, though. Yes, he does have enough to do it. And he will be able to push those Marines back once again. Just, you know, trading with the Terran army right now. I think that's his mindset. From Idra's point of view, he just doesn't want to let Select max out and get a chance at this game. He's going to keep his foot on the gas pedal and continue to kind of drive it home until he pretty much beats Select into a submissive pulp. And he's doing a great job at doing that right now. It's like a UFC fighter beating down on a little nerd in the octagon. This is terrible. Oh, he's going to lose some Mutas here, though. Nope, not really. Zergling support on the ground as well. And Idra just being very cost-effective with these Mutas. Let's just check that units lost tab right now. Surprisingly, actually pretty close between the two players. And the colors are jacked up right now, so I do apologize about that. I have no idea why. But I'm pretty sure that 176 supply is Zerg supply and not Terran supply. So that's just a quick little indicator as to how far ahead Idra really is in this game. And he's now also busted down the rocks leading into the third, so just making a ground path right here for Zerglings to make their way through. Has he got Hive on the way? No, he's sticking the lair. He's running in the Mutalisks once again. That missile turret being focused down. Is there enough SCVs to repair? It looks like there may be, but a lot of SCVs going down. Zerglings also on hold position. Micro at the third. Beautiful harass by Idra once again. Classic Zerg versus Terran strategy. And well, maybe not classic, actually. Classic Zerg versus Terran strategy is just to macro up and then engage. This is more like high-octane, in-your-face July Zerg strategy, and it is working out brilliantly. Right now, Idra has 1-2 upgrades. His Mutas have 0-1 upgrades. Big clump of Marines here, so that may be enough Marines to hold this off, but a friendly fire tank shot destroying about 3 Marines right there. The shrapnel coming out from the artillery shell just blasting up in front of the Marines' faces. That was not well. That was not good at all. And now Idra getting a 4th base, getting spine crawlers to deal with the medevac drops as well, if they ever do come. And he's still harassing Select right now. What Select needs to do at this point, he just needs to calm down, I think. He needs to, you know, focus on production. I still don't know if he's got enough barracks. There we are. All right, there we go. He's adding on more barracks right now. So he's getting the barracks production. He needs to deal with the Mutas, but really he needs to kind of calm down a little bit and get his production going. He's got to find an answer for these Mutas, though. This Muta count is just getting way too large for Select to manage with. I don't even think he has enough Marines right now. If he clumped up all these Marines, I don't even still know if that's enough Marines to deal with this many Mutas. And you don't want to walk them in single file like that. Idra will eat you up. But it looks like the medevac support is going to be enough. Select able to push that away, producing Marines 9 at a time right now. That's what he needs to be doing. Get that Marine count up. But I don't know. It might be too little, too late. Select is just running. Idra's just running away now. He's got the gold. He's at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bases. Getting infestors out. Getting hive tech out. No ghosts even on the way yet. Oh yeah, there's the Ghost Academy on the way, but no ghosts in production yet for Select. And still forced to be on the back foot as he's got to defend this large clump of Mutas. I don't think these Marines are going to be able to deal with these Mutas. If Idra wanted to commit right now, I'm pretty sure these Marines would be toast. And Idra realizing that, he goes in for the kill. He's going to destroy all those Marines. Look at how fast those glaive worms ricochet off the Marine suits. And now the missile turrets don't even stand a chance. 1 or 2 volleys taking them out. The rally point for the new mutas being sent to the clump of mutas. So that army is continually being reinforced. And now there's a gaping hole in terms of anti-air back in the main. Gold is not going to last here. Select needs to keep this alive, though. He's got to if he wants a chance at this game, but it's not going to work out for him. The command center burns in a burning pile of rubble on the floor below after it blows up in the air, and the mutas continuing to pile on the hurt in the middle of the field. Wow, this is just... If you guys are a Zerg fan right now, you guys are probably cheering your heads off because this is textbook Zerg 101. This is how you play modern day Zerg. Forget macroing up in the back and then eventually attacking. It's all about keeping that aggression on, and he is on right now. Idra is on, and this is the thing about Idra. When he is on, when he's you know, on a roll, he keeps that roll going. He is unstoppable. Great fungal growth right here too. Oh no, these SCVs could just get a massive fungal to the face, but he doesn't have any infestors with energy. That was pretty risky from Select, but at this point, when you're this far behind, you just gotta make big risks. You gotta take big risks here if you're gonna win this game, and I agree with what Select is doing. You know, at the very least, he got control over the gold. That's one small step here. Another thing he's doing pretty well is he's kept his SCV count pretty high. It's still at 72 workers, or 75, whatever that may be. I'm not too sure. And it looks like, yeah, he's not doing too bad right now, but his army supply is still pretty diminished. That mutaflock's still very large. He's got a good Thor shot right there. He's going to be able to push those mutas away. And actually, Idra conceding a little bit of ground in the middle of the map. Surprising, but there it is. That's why. Because Idra was saving up for 6 Broodlords. You guys can see 6 Broodlords being morphed in the middle of the field right now. And those Broodlords are going to be a big, big factor here. Because Select does not have Vikings, nor does he have Ghosts on the field. Even though he had a Ghost Academy, and that is going to be devastating. He has neither of the weapons he needs to deal with the Broodlords. And not only that, we finally have Crack upgrade on the way, something that Idra totally forgot to get in the last game. So this could run away pretty quickly here. Idra running in though with the Broodlords, got to be careful. Marines stimming up all underneath the Broodlords. They target fire the Broodlords down, taking out about 4. But then the Mutas and Banelings making short work of the Marines as they were trapped underneath the Broodlords. And Idra, I think, could just afford to continue trading like this. It doesn't really matter to him. He is going to be able to shell away at this SCV line. And the problem here is Select is sieging up his own SCVs due to the Broodlords. The fungal growth also goes down, so those SCVs are even further weakened. He needs to unsiege the tanks right now because he's doing friendly fire damage to his own economy. And now Idra just going to run rampant inside the Terran economy. Oh my goodness. Look at all the SCVs and workers scurrying for their lives. They actually, half of them making it out alive, but 54 workers killed now, 49 under 70, a couple of ghosts launching their sniper shot on the Broodlords, and Select unbelievably holding here at his gold, even though he took some insurmountable SCV losses. He is holding at the gold, so that is one thing that's going okay for Select, but you know, it's it's basically 2 mining bases, if you can call this a mining base. It is 2 mining bases to 1. Well, this wasn't mining for whatever reason, so 2 mining bases for Idra. So I guess, you know, Idra isn't mining nearly as much, but he's got such a large army right now. He's pushing it in the middle of the field once again. This could be the coup de grace, and Select calls GG. Well played, congrats. And that is going to be the end of it, the series, I guess, because Select called the GG well played. So I guess that means it was a best of, let's see, Idra is 4-2, so it was a best of 4. Or the first player to win 4 games in the series, basically win the entire tournament. So that was it. And what a game between these 2 players. I mean, Idra just taking it home in the last couple of games in such dominating fashion. Really surprising to me, but he just played his hearts out. And he deserves this win more than anybody that I know. I mean, of course, Idra also the recent winner of IEM in New York as well, so he has just been on a tear lately. And Select, he made a good stand in the beginning, but then everything kind of fell apart towards the end. So that's that, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. I am about to pass out right now, but before I pass out, I wanted to say, please, guys, if you guys get a chance, follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and especially if you guys can, I'd appreciate the subscriptions on YouTube. So if you guys haven't subscribed to me or you don't have a YouTube account, it doesn't take too much time. Make a YouTube account, subscribe to my channel, and you guys will get up to date posts as to when I make more videos. So that's it for me, guys. This is HD, gonna be signing out till next time. I'll see you guys in the next video.